Welcome to Wake Up with Joni, the podcast where we explore transformation, empowerment, and what it means to live fully awake in every area of life. I'm your host, Joni Lerner, metaphysical counselor, coach, and author of Stop, Look, Choose, Your Journey to Peace and Freedom. Today, I am so excited to welcome a very special guest, Amy Weibe, founder of Unbound Motherhood. Amy is a guide and teacher who empowers women to step into their truest selves, break free of limiting patterns, and embrace motherhood and life with joy and authenticity. She draws on the wisdom of human design, helping women understand their unique energetic blueprints so they can parent, partner, and live with more ease, alignment, and freedom. You're going to love this conversation. So welcome, Amy. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Joni. I'm thrilled to be here today. Thank you.
Hey, we had in the past a podcast on human design, which is really beautifully flowing into what you and I are going to talk about today, because she kind of broke it down, but I want you to break it down in your own words as we get there. But you're very specific to the focus of how to use human design in the work that you do. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
very excited.
Yeah.
So where would you like to begin? I always ask, was there a moment in your life? Was there a thing that happened or an event or a series of events that led?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can definitely help you with this. So, about 10 years ago, I definitely focus on women that are struggling with the bedtime routines and consistent sleep throughout the night with their little ones. 10 years ago, when my kids were about 6 and 4, I found myself at my absolute wit's end. I had about 5 years, I felt, of compounded no sleep, struggling at that bedtime witching hour. It felt like more like the Hunger Games. And it was just like, I wanted to finish my day and wrap it up, but they just were like, another drink of water, another hug, another kiss, another cuddle. And I was like, yeah, that's really cute, but not every night. And I was at my wit's end. They would be coming into my bed at night, kicking me in the back, trying to cuddle me, but you know how it is. It just doesn't work out. So one night in my midnight ambush from my son Jack, he came in and cuddled me, but he literally kicked me in the back, and I got up. It was 2 in the morning, and I'm like, there's gotta be something different to get these kids to go to the bed and stay in their bed all night long. I'm like, here I am. I was running a real estate company. I was doing all the things. I was basically parenting on my own because my partner was working all of the time. So it was just me juggling all the things, and I didn't have family in town. So this light bulb moment hit me at 2 in the morning, was like, well, if there's a tooth fairy, there's got to be a sleep fairy. So I went on the internet, no sleep fairy. So I made her up, and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the kids to believe in this fairy, and she only comes to moms who really want her to come. So I pulled in that imagination piece and started name dropping. Oh, she works with Tinkerbell, and we should call the sleep fairy. And I got my friends to say it. And so it kind of started to become a thing until the boys really started saying, well, Mom, can we call the sleep fairy? And I would be like, I don't know. She's got some rules, and I don't know if she's really busy. And so I just played with the imagination piece and had a lot of fun with it. And then when they were begging me to have her come into the home, I'm like, okay, well, here are the set of rules that she's got. And they were all my pain points, really. Go to bed when mom says, no fuss, no muss, one book. And then if you get up in the middle of the night to go pee, go back to your bed, because I was sick and tired of them coming into my room and saying, Mom, I peed. Excellent, go to sleep. I don't want to hear it. So I made all these things and then let mom sleep in the morning and play quietly. For boys, that's hard. So I made these things, and they were so excited that the sleep fairy was coming. They made cookies for her. They got ready for her. We had little night lights. And the first night that we invited her into our home, it worked. And I was floored. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to write down every single thing that I've done here so that I can spread the word to other moms and help them out. So that's what I did. And I kept the sleep fairy running off and on in our home for a couple of years. And they love sleep fairy so much. I mean, we got special blankets and all of these things. And then years later, I ended up writing a children's book uh, for kids. So just to ignite their own imagination. And it really just brought a different flavor into their bedtime routines and took away the stress of it all and made it more memorable.
So, a couple of pieces. One is you hit on a pain point of a lot of moms. I'd say nearly all moms ever in the history of momming. And I think oftentimes, at least I did, I wasn't around children. I didn't have family that had children. I was flying by the seat of my pants and I felt very guilty about being exhausted, about being upset that they're just being kids. Please go to sleep, all the things. So, what do you say to moms who may be in that category?
Oh, absolutely. I would remember just losing my absolute marbles. Like I didn't even recognize myself. I had that anger inside me almost, or frustration, which is so awful to even say. I just, like Mother's Day, please just everyone leave me alone. Like I need space. And it's awful to even think about this. But with that compounding no sleep, like it's inevitable that you're going to start feeling like this. But I remember my son one time, he said to me, he's like, Mom, I know that, what did he say? I know that your favorite part of the day is when you spend time with us. And inside, I was like, wow, I'm doing such a good job because they're not seeing what's going on the insides. I really felt like I didn't have that in quotation marks mom gene. I would cry by myself often and felt so guilty that I wasn't enjoying the motherhood experience. And that's what this thing did was this whole imagination piece was just so beautiful because it brought back now I'm baking cookies for a fairy. Now it's the fairy's rules, not mine. Now it's this and that. And it just made a softer, more lighter, easier bedtime routine that the kids were actually wanted to participate in. So it took all the onus off of me.
Yeah, that's great. And what's true is that it was for you, but it was for them.
Oh, win-win
You're
all
getting
around.
sleep, which makes you a more present and better mom. They're getting sleep, which makes them less cranky and more able to play and be in the world. Now, my question though, because when my kid was 8 years old, now granted, she was stupid smart. She's smarter than I am to this day. But she sat in the back of the car at 8 years old. She said, Mom, why didn't you tell me there's no Santa Claus?
Mhm.
I said, Who told you? An idiot. She goes, I knew it. There's no Santa. Totally tricked me into this whole admission. But how did they feel 10 years later? I assume they know now that there's no actual fairy. How did they respond? How did they react to that?
When we first brought it in, they were older. They were like 5 and 6 and 5 and 4, something like that. So they went to school and they asked their friends about it. They're like, have you ever heard of a sleep fairy? And they came home and they called me on it. They're like, Mom, there's no sleep fairy. And I said, oh, yes, there is. I'm like, Mom just has to call the sleep fairy. She doesn't go to everybody. So that's how I dealt with it there. And then years later, when they found out, they were more upset that Sleep Fairy wasn't real and then Santa was real. Like Sleep Fairy was their childhood memory and moment.
Mhm.
And but they still love Sleep Fairy. They still love Sleep Fairy. They're
Yeah,
excited.
we'll check back in 10 years when they're at college and see how they feel.
They're 16 now and 14, so they're pretty good. But yeah, no, they had such fond memories of
Good.
that imagination piece that I did. But I always loved to do the imagination thing, whether it was with Santa or the
I
Tooth
did too.
Fairy and all that kind of stuff. It just brought that kid magic in that's so innocent.
And I loved it as a child, or I wouldn't have done it. For the Easter Bunny, it wasn't a
Yeah.
religious holiday for us, but I hid eggs everywhere with candy in them. And then I created giant bunny prints, giant rabbit footprints in the mud.
Oh
Like
yeah,
the bunny
yeah.
was good. I got into it. We had leprechauns for St. Patrick's Day. It was,
But it makes it so fun. And then it's like enjoyable for you and enjoyable. And this one just gave such a getting your family to sleep again was just so huge that it was just worth there was no down pit downfall of it at all
Yeah.
on my end
So
anyways.
what's the storyline of the book? What's it called again?
Oh, it's called, here, I'll just show it to you. It's so cute.
Olia, the
Oh
magic
yeah, the magical sleep
fairy.
fairy.
Oh, beautiful. That's a beautiful.
So I really worked on the illustrations of it because I felt like a lot of kids' books back then were, I really like amazing illustrations. So I wanted to capture the
Oh,
minds of the children and ignite it. And it's literally about Max and Jack, my kids' names, Max and Jack, and about the sleep fairy and like the rules and all that kind of stuff. And just it's just about the sleep fairy and what she does there, and that she lives in her little fairyland and she's got some friends in there, and she waters her little garden and everything like that. And it's all about sleeping and mom calling the sleep fairy and all the rest of it. So it's just another added tool for the parent, but it ignites that child's visual pleasing pleasure.
yes. Your website what's it called? Something
The Unbound Motherhood?
Unbound Motherhood.
Yeah.
What is that? What
So
does that mean?
so it's just like breaking combination to helping basically immediately for your bedtime routines.
Mhm.
And then we go further on when I work with people either one-on-one or in our group programs, but it's a whole embodiment of motherhood. I really did not like that I wasn't enjoying my motherhood experience in the beginning. I had a lot of guilt around that. And I
Mhm.
could lead work no problem. And then coming home from that, and I just felt like I was failing left, right, and center. And
Yeah.
I wanted to enjoy, you love your little people and they drive you absolutely bonkers, but I wanted to enjoy those moments. And I needed to find a way that was going to make that less friction, a lot more ease. And that's where the human design piece comes in as well.
Okay. So couple of things, very specific things I want to talk about is what is human design in your words, but also do you work with women in business in corporate world also in terms of the sleep piece and integrating? I had somebody on the podcast who said something brilliant, and we'll see what you think about this. He said it's not about work-life balance, it's about work-life integration. So
Oh, I
communicating,
love that.
isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Communicating what's important about work and why I'm a little late here, and then not being late, communicating to work, saying, listen, my kid has this baseball game and I'm not missing it. And so there's an integration, there's a communication to both the home life and the business life so that you can balance as much as you can, because sometimes it's going to be more one and more of the other. But I
Sure.
think what I read on your website was you work with women specifically in corporate world in terms of sleep and children and all those things. So take it away. Pick that up.
Well, yeah, I work with a lot of women that are either entrepreneurships or strong in their work, and they love work. A lot of the clients that find me are the ones that are not the at-home moms. So they're trying to juggle all of the things. And you're right, you've got to integrate it. Sometimes it's a little bit heavier here and a little bit lighter there. And you just got to flow with it. But it's so hard to have that flow when it's every time you come home and it's like, okay, we got a bath, we got to do the dinners. It's like this mad race. And then you're treating every child like they're all the same. And the bedtime routine is just not helping. So this is really like the first thing that people come to me for is I need my kid to sleep because I'm gonna lose my mind.
Mhm.
And that's the part that usually opens the door to them working with me.
Mhm.
When you ask about human design is a combination of astrology, quantum physics, and ancient wisdom. And the cool thing about it is that it pulls from the exact moment the person was born, whether they're a child, mom, or whatever. So the date and time is very important. And if you don't have the time, no problem. You can get it from the hospital that you were born at and just give them a call and ask them. And human design shows like who we are naturally and how we make decisions, how we rest, how we communicate, and how we relate to the world and our energy, which is so cool because once you do a little bit of research or reading on your child's human design and also your own, instantly it'll stop some friction. So I'll give you an example. So my son, Max, is a manifester. These are energy types. There's 5 of them. So Max is a manifester. Jack is a generator. Max, being a manifester, he likes to be the boss. This is who he is. So when I talked to him about bedtime coming up, I said, hey, listen, bedtime's coming up in about 5-10 minutes. Think about if you want to have a shower first or a bath, or if you want to read a book first, giving him those options. All of a sudden, now Max feels like he's in the driver's seat. He can make an informed decision. He can tell me what he chooses, and we can go from there. With Jack being a generator, now this kid's got energy, and he is just ever since elementary school. He's been told by the doctors, or by not the doctors, the teachers, that he has ADHD. And it doesn't have it. He technically doesn't have it, but it was one of those things. He needs to burn off energy. So for him to really hit the pillow at night, I need to go and send him out on the trampoline for 15-20 minutes before bed, go for a bike ride, jump in the lake, whatever we do, so that he can burn that extra energy off, and then he'll fall asleep. That's one example, and that's for an energy type.
Okay, so let's say my child's a projector.
Mm-hmm.
How would you, now she's 28 years old, I don't have this issue anymore, but what would you do with a projector?
Yeah,
Invite,
so for projectors, they really like their quiet space, and they love to have everything organized. And maybe they're going to read a book, maybe they're going to color. It's more of a softer feel. But you can see, let's just pretend we had all 3 of those kids in one family. And if you're the mom trying to be like, okay, it's book time, it's bath time, it's this for every single one, you're going to get some friction there with the kid that's the generator, where your projector doesn't want to have everybody buzzing around. She needs her quiet time, her little night lights. And then Max, who wants to be the authoritative, it gives so much ease for the mom to be like, okay, now I can direct this way, I can direct this way. It's like your mother's intuition on steroids. Just
yeah,
being
it's like
able
a
to,
roadmap.
yeah, it's just reading this and being like, oh, these are really cool nuggets that I can pull into my family, and immediately.
Yes. So a reflector, how would you deal with that at night with a child?
If a reflector really pulls in a lot from their surrounding is going
Right.
on. So if I'm talking to one of my clients and her son or daughter is a reflector, I'm going to be asking a lot about what their family life looks like. I'm going to be looking at the other kids' energy types. I'm going to be looking at the parents' energy types, and then we'll go from there. And typically with a reflector, you're going to want to have a calmer space so that they have time to maybe even like write. They're really good at coloring before bedtime because it just empties out their brain at the end of the night with everything that they've picked up, so that they can calm themselves down and get into their own rhythm.
Would that work for an adult?
Absolutely.
Okay. I have a friend that's a reflector and she's a remarkable human. It's just, but I understand that's only 1% of the population or something ridiculous. And it's got to be tough being a reflector.
It is, absolutely. And for her too, for an adult, even just journaling at the end of the night to getting down all of her thoughts and things like that, it's dumping out the energies that have been collecting in them throughout the day.
Right. Okay. So I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You went into a little bit, I was going to ask you about what would you recommend for kids at night, but this is even better because you're going by types. So we had the manifestor, the generator, the projector, and the reflector. The manifesting generator?
Manifesting generator is very similar to the generator. They need to burn off some energy, but they like to have some options. Manifesting generators like to have, they have little buckets that they want to go into. I want to color. I want to have a shower. I want to go first. Okay, so great. Let's go for a walk. a trampoline. And then what do you want to do? What's the first thing on your list for your bedtime routine tonight? Are you going to brush your teeth and then have a shower? And then give them the options and then they can pick.
I have something to show
Okay.
you. Hold on a second.
Sounds good.
I've never gotten up from my chair before, but I just did.
Love it.
What does
Yes.
that mean? It is I.
Okay. We're an emotional authority, which means that when you make big decisions, it's best for you to take on your waves. You're going to have waves. Do you ever find that to make those big decisions, you're going to go off, up and down, off and on? Do you ever find that? Like where you're like,
Yes.
yes, your friend calls you up and says, hey, Joni, do you want to go to Maui? And you're like, yes, I do. And they're like, great, we're leaving tonight. And you're like, oh, no, wait, I got to think about this.
I have to process it.
Process it. Or big purchases where like, I know I'm have an emotional authority too. And for big purchases, if I want something at the store and I'm like, I got to think about it. So I back up for a bit. And then if I'm still thinking about it after about a week or something, then I'm like, yeah, I need that thing, whatever that thing might be.
So would it be clever for you and I? This is what I do. I go into Amazon, I throw all the things I want, and then I put them somewhere else. They're not in
Yeah.
the cart, they're on a list. So then I go back into the list and I look and I'm like, what was I thinking? I literally don't want any of that stuff.
You were so excited in the moment. You're just like, get everything, get everything, get everything.
Yeah, I
But
want
yeah,
four of them.
that's that emotional authority. And it's really just going through your waves. Now, not for something if someone says, hey, do you want a cup of coffee? You don't need to go through your emotional waves on that. But for the big decisions, yes,
Mhm.
wait for your waves. And they say typically between 2 to 3 days, but that just depends. Just see how you feel.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So, Human Design 101, somebody's just tuning in, they've never heard of it before, ever. Can you give us like a really foundational, easy explanation or
Yes, yes. So when you're thinking about human design, it really is like whenever you read human design, and that's the way that I teach it actually is very palatable because I want someone to understand it. Because when I first read this, I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And it took me forever to read it and break it down and all that kind of stuff. But you're going to get so many aha moments. For example, I'm a manifesting generator, and one of my manifesting generator traits is that you like to do a lot of things. Like I sold real estate for 13 years. Now I'm an author. Now I'm into human design. My sister looks at me and says, almost like I'm what do you call it? A flake or something like that. I'm into this and that. And I'm just like, no, I'm not. Literally, and when you read your human design, it says that some people will say this and this about you, but that's just who I am. And so yeah, no, I like trying a lot of different things. It's almost like a permission slip of who you actually are. It's really cool. So when you're looking at human design, there's so many different pieces to look at. You can research this for decades and you're always learning. And when you're looking at the human design, it really is showing your greatest potential. So if you pulled up your chart there again for me there, and you see,
right. So
I don't
for
know,
those of you who are only listening, I have a chart that I'm putting in front of the camera that is
it's
my
her human
human
design chart. And you guys are all going to get a free thing from me too, which is going to be so fun. So all of your centers there that are colored in,
uh-huh.
that's giving you defined energy. That is just who you are. You will
Okay.
always have that energy. The white ones
Uh-huh.
are you're open or undefined in this case. So that
Mhm.
means that you're going to be getting energy in from other people to create that consistent energy. So
Mm.
your friend is a reflector, all of her centers are going to be white. No,
Whoa.
whoa is right.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then each one of those codes, like those gates that are in there, they each have a shadow and also a gift. So, especially with you and your open centers, the white ones that are in there, you
Mhm.
can go in there and look and when you master those gates that you have in there, I think you just had three,
Mhm.
you
Two.
will be two. Okay, you will be able, once you master those, you can teach those. Those are things that like those are the wisdoms that you're gonna gain throughout your life to be able to teach other people and things like that. It's
Wow.
so fascinating.
It is. Yes. So you're going to give us a link or something where people can take their own test?
Absolutely. It's not even just your own test. It's about an 18-page report. And Joni, I'd love for you to do it for
I
yourself too. And
will.
it'll give you all this golden information. I've written it for the mom, for the woman. I've written it for the woman, but you can also pull a chart for your child and get information off that as well. And then if you go a step further, just in what I'm going to be giving you, then there's a bedtime. I have a private podcast. It's called the Bedtime Reset Series, and it'll take you through the whole chart and give you in the moment nuggets about what you can do with your child and with their human design when you're looking at it side by side. So
Okay.
it's fantastic. And that you have to go get that chart and listen because it's so much, it's just so valuable. You'll just be so thrilled that you did it.
Oh, that's awesome. How do you guide women specifically to reconnect to their hearts
To their hearts. Well,
or to their
first,
intuition or to their joy, true selves? We get so off-centered and wobbly, and we think we are all these roles and things that we do. And how do you guide them back to themselves? Put it that way.
yeah, that's great. So, first of all, when we're starting out, if I'm working one-on-one with somebody, I really just get a sense of where they're at and where they're struggling at. Also, what I'm giving your clients as well is a one-on-one with me, which is a sleep audit, and then I'm giving it to you for free. I have a what do you call it? A promo code for you guys, podcast VIP, and then it'll cancel out the cost of it. But anyways,
Thank
with
you.
that, when we go through it, I just find out where they're at and I listen to where they're at. That's probably one of my greatest gifts is just listening and understanding where somebody is at. Now, for the mom that is doing the bedtime thing, okay, then we start there. But if the person, okay, let's just say she's nailed the bedtime because that's not going to take any time whatsoever. Then and she's just, Amy, I still don't have the mom gene. I have so much guilt and anger and like all this stuff inside. So one of my favorite practices that I do with my clients is called rage writing. And this is something that I would never want you to share with anyone or even yourself after you write it, but you literally write it down, anything and everything that is pissing you off, or what is, sorry for the swear, but just anything that's ticking you off. You just got to get it out of you. I always say secrets make you sick, even the
Mhm.
ones towards yourself, even the ones towards your kids or your partner, whatever it is. So you get out all this venom out of you just by writing. Sit with a pen and paper for 10 minutes or 20 minutes and just anything that pops up, your boss, your dog, your cat, anything. And you write it down and be as harsh and brutal as you possibly can. Then rip it up, burn it, throw it out, whatever you got to do. Don't look at it again. It gets it out of you. It gets it out of you. That is one of the first steps. And then we break it down from there, where we go in and look at what is your part in feeling this way. Because whenever you're feeling a certain way, you've got to look back and be, it's not this person's fault or this person's fault. You've got to look and see what it is and what can you take accountability for. So we go into boundaries and all this kind of stuff. That's really the one-on-one portion that I work with people. And it just really just depends on where they're at.
Yeah.
With my group programs, I'm teaching them to go through the human design and then they can look at their own design and their kids' design and their family's design and it's so much fun and exciting. So
Yeah.
this depends on where you start off.
So I think I love all of that. The 12-step program says you're only as sick as your secrets. And then
Oh,
the ancient wisdom has different ways of doing what you're talking about and ceremonies to burn it. It's a beautiful tool. And I love that you've woven that in there. It's very powerful and shared it with the listeners because they can do that tonight if they wanted to.
absolutely.
One of the things that has helped me in relationship in particular, so I want to get your take on this. My partner is in the Toltec wisdom, he's what's called a South person. So stay with me here. You'll see where I'm
Yeah.
going. He's a South person. And so they're incredibly powerful and energetic, and they're quick to anger and they're quick to let go of the anger and they're just, I'm what's called a West person, which is I come from heart and space. And my out of balance instead of anger is I'll start crying on him. He's like, well, it's not that. So when I understood who he was and where he came from, and that's inherent in his personality and mine, it was an incredible tool to help me understand our interaction. So that's where I'm taking it to human design. So you're a manifesting generator. What is
Yeah,
your husband?
a generator. The thing is that you're talking about types right now, and I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
One of my clients, she says that this work has fixed her, saved her marriage, even though has no idea that she's doing this.
Right, right. They changed somehow because we've changed.
Right. Because you look at their centers and their superpowers and their codes and all of these things, and that's the stuff that we do more in the group and everything like that is learning your
Oh,
human design. And it's so fun because
ah,
you could do it with your sister. My sister, love her, but we get fired up sometimes.
I have an amazing sister also, so I totally get that. But what you just said, it goes beyond this is the type and the type, but this is the thing that my white areas, for example.
Yeah.
Would knowing his white areas help me understand what he's navigating and learning in the world and
Absolutely.
therefore
His
have more
his
compassion?
energy type, the way that he makes decisions would help. That it's his authority, his profile would help out big time. It's how they are seen in the world, the centers, their gates, their superpowers. There's so many pieces to this human design report, everything that you just will go through it.
All
And
right, folks, the chart is back. What are my superpowers?
it's hard for me to see. I got to get my glasses on. You have quite a few. You have quite a few. Let me just get my thing here so I can look on mine. Oh yeah, so you had the 18 and 58, I
Uh-huh.
think, in the
Okay.
bottom there. Yeah, you have in your splenic area there.
Yes.
You have four gates that are in there for fears. And I just did this big thing on fears in there the other day. But yeah, you've got one, two, three, and then go up a little bit. Let's see. Five, six. Oh, you've got six. Yeah, you're gonna have a nice little report when you pull that out. Your report's gonna tell you, and you'll have all the goodies in there.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Fabulous. I've never done that before. I think it's such a cool reference and to have an expert take a peek because I look at it, that is weird looking. I have no idea what that thing is.
It's so, what am I looking at? But that's where that report that I'm giving you guys all, it'll go through and explain. I say 18 pages, but it just depends on the amount of superpowers. You have quite a bit, so you'll probably have a little bit more than 18 pages. But yeah,
Wow.
you'll love it.
Cool. That my ego goes, I have more superpowers.
I have more superpowers. I'm doing amazing.
Going back to the moms, are there, when you look at blocks or patterns in the human design, is there a common thing that you see or
The one thing that I see commonly, it's not in your human design, but when moms come to me and they're frustrated with their bedtime routines, and the main thing that I always say is often moms will want to think of bedtime as a one size fits all.
yeah.
And just by learning, bringing in a little bit of imagination and learning a little bit of human design, just the type, even, or the golden trifecta, as I call it, the energy type, authority, and profile, you're going to be giving such a leg up on yourself from like one little hour of reading, not even, and you'll be like, oh, I can do this and do this, and just these micro shifts to
Yeah.
change with your bedtime. It's not so much in the design of the human
Okay.
design that I
Got
see.
it. But you can extrapolate what you're talking about with children to the adult, like the CEO who comes home and her mind is going a million miles an hour. If they're a reflector, or would the journaling work for a generator as well? Would you recommend?
There's different components to the human design for me to just say that, but
Yeah.
what you want to do is you want to pull from, and in the bedtime reset series, I go through all of these things so that
Mhm.
you can pull, if you have your kid's chart out there, you can be like, okay, I'm gonna pull, this is the nugget for a generator, and this is a nugget for the splenic authority, and this is a nugget for my 1-4 profile, and then that, and pull it all together and then see what kind of comes up with your brainstorming.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right. Tell me what we have not covered. What do you want to say to people
I
about
just,
what's possible? Because
oh,
what you're talking about, I think, is giving people hope.
this is such the joy of my life, this work. It's absolutely incredible. The instant aha moments that are happening with my clients over and over again. And my goal is just to I really want all moms to enjoy that motherhood experience, even at those terrible twos, the frightening threes, and all of those stages where you're
Mhm.
not getting your sleep and you're doing all these things. There is an easier way. And I really created this way because I couldn't find an easier way. There was all of
Yeah.
that lavender spray and everything like that. There just was nothing else that worked so instant as all of this. And this is the same feedback that I get all the time, is
Yeah.
that it's just, it fits with my family. And it does fit with your family because it's about your family. It's exactly about your family because it's the time of their birth. It's the time of yours and your partner's birth and everything. And so we really, every case is completely unique.
Mhm.
And but you learn from each other and all that kind of stuff too. It's just, there is a very much easier way. And for me, I feel like it's this way.
Nice. And so, for just a couple of things that you said, you do one-on-one coaching, and then you
Yeah.
have groups. What is the focus, a group?
Yeah, so it's a group of women that I pull together, and each week I go through a human design training. And then there's also question and answers so that you can write your direct questions and I can respond back to you if you don't want to do the one-on-one training. It's an ongoing thing, it's a monthly thing. So you have four sessions a month and you just
And is
ask
this
the
about
questions.
learning about yourself and your family, or is this about becoming certified as a human design person, or?
I don't certify people or
Okay.
anything like that. No, I'm just helping them. I'm helping them and giving them teaching so that they can do their own research on it. But I'm your guide. So I'll be giving you, let's look at the fear center and like find out what fears you have and what can happen if we go this way and what can happen if we go that way. So really breaking it down in bite-sized pieces because let's be honest, human design is really confusing. Look at that chart that you just showed me. What the heck is that thing? It looks like
Yeah.
it's like a geometry set had a
Yeah.
baby with I don't know what. It's just
Like a
it's
Lego
so
set.
crazy.
So you talked about fear, and everyone can relate to that.
Yeah,
So varying degrees of fear. Courage is having the fear and doing something anyway. But there
yeah.
are some that's so much of fear is installed when we're younger and we don't even know what it's about anymore. It runs the responses or the reactions rather in life. The triggers get triggered and the fears get surfaced, and you're reacting suddenly completely out of alignment with who you are. So that's not everyone, but one that can happen to one. And with my coaching, I run into it a lot. It's the monster. So I love the journaling piece. Coloring is fabulous. Looking at your human design and the fear pieces and stuff, what do you do? How do you neutralize that?
Well, there's three spots in the human design chart that are the fear centers. There's about 20 fear gates. So there's a lot of stuff to unpack here.
Mhm.
So we go through it and we see, first of all, is your center defined that you hold the energy, or is it undefined? And or is it open? And what does that mean? And then we go into the gates and that sort of thing. So
So
it's
wait. What does undefined and open mean?
Yeah, so if we have a defined center, that means that you have these things innately and you're just gonna feel them naturally all the time and that's just gonna be okay. But if you know that, then you're just aware of it. And then
Mhm.
for the undefined, you can be picking up other things from other people and how that will affect the gates that are active in you.
Okay. And then open,
Oh, open is very similar to undefined.
undefined. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Okay. Pray continue. Are we still, is there more on the fear piece?
The fear piece is literally it's quite a large
Yeah.
piece, but it's not when you break it down for the individual. So when you break it down for the individual and you can look at your chart and see it, and you can really break down to, okay, I recognize this. This makes sense for me. And in November, when I start working on, I'm doing a fears seminar actually, and I'm breaking it down for kids and bedtime routines. I'm going to be hosting a free masterclass in November about it, but it's just showing what kids will be potentially saying, what you can say to diffuse it, and what you can do to turn it around. Now that's a lot.
Yes, yes. And the free master class is that do you have to have prior knowledge of human design or can anyone join?
No, absolutely not. Everyone that comes into my world is just curious and excited about human design.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is that I don't make it some big, huge, crazy rabbit hole. I really like to make it so that it's palatable for everybody. And I break it down for the kids in some circumstances, but then I also talk about the parents as well. And you're always just getting aha moments. I don't work one-on-one with children, but when I'm working with the mom, they're like, oh, this makes so much sense for my daughter and this makes so much sense for me because they're the driving force for their family, so they're navigating all of
Wow.
that.
Yes. It's clear that you really love what you do and that you really care about people. And I appreciate that about you.
Thank
You
you, Joni.
know, I really appreciate your generosity with the listeners and sharing your time. Can you just give us your website address so people can go and find all these beautiful goodies? And I'll make sure they're in the show notes as well.
Absolutely. So it's unboundmotherhood.com. And then you just go from there and you plug in your info, and then you're going to get your it'll say 1, 2, 3, do this, do this.
Okay.
And so it's really easy and you can follow it. You can book a sleep audit. You don't have to, but if you do book a sleep audit, the promo code is podcast VIP. I charge $111 for that call, but it just wipes it out for you guys. So everything in there is free, but make sure you listen to that bedtime reset series. It'll really help you navigate through what you're looking at. Even for you, Joni, if you pull it up and that first episode, it'll just run through what you're looking at so that it'll give you a good indication of that. And then the rest of the series is very geared toward bedtime routines, which will give everyone those takeaway nuggets that they can start right away, which is so exciting.
Okay. So I have one last question that I ask all my podcast guests. Are you ready for it?
I think so.
Okay. How do you recommend that our listeners go out and live their most alive lives?
Most aligned lives?
Alive. Alive. Yes.
Lives. Oh,
Yes.
that's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. Okay, let's see here. You know what? I think that I would just suggest to do exactly what your heart is saying. And this is one of my favorite things. I want you to be selfish and in the best way. Eat that chocolate bar and read that book and say no to going out when you don't want to go out and have an extra long bath and cancel some plans and just be selfish for you. And I mean that in like the nicest way, not the way that people typically think of it.
And then you're so much more available and present for the people you love in your life. I love that.
Well, yeah, and if you don't recharge your batteries and feel that you've had time for yourself, then man, no one's going to get a good version of you.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh, Amy, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today and just a kind heart and for reminding us that we all have a design in life
Yeah.
and that we can let go of the stuff that doesn't work and that there are ways to do it that that aren't painful. So thank you. I appreciate you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
And for those of you listening, if you're ready to go deeper on your own journey of awakening, contact Amy, or you can contact me and we can explore my coaching programs. Or you can pick up my book, Stop, Look, Choose, Your Journey to Peace and Freedom, or Amy's book, and it's called
The Magical Sleep Fairy.
I Love It. And you'll find the links in the show notes. Folks, if you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to rate, review, and share with somebody that you love. They may need to hear this message today. Together we can spread light, truth, and transformation. Until the next time, stay awake, stay present, keep choosing freedom, and go out and live your most alive lives.